do shit.
That was wild. Is all
It was
I'd
scary
say.
because it was fun. I turned it on. It was working. I was like, oh sweet, and then all of a sudden, it's like, oh fuck. All right, so
Yeah, you're still kind of da. No, I don't have a camera, so I don't have this
So
problem.
that's my luck though, because every time I fuck something up, someone fucks it up worse. So Theo's video not working at all helps me out.
oh my god, it was kind of scary because I had a laptop and there was like some motherboard issue, so all of the Windows was fucking up. And that was like I had to like send the computer back in. And when we went to the Apple store, so when I bought the laptop, this is my very first laptop. They gave me like this incredible discount. They're like, "Oh, we don't usually give anyone this kind of discount. It's like it was bigger than the student discount that they usually give." So I was like, okay, whatever. So they give it to us. We go to the Apple store in Indiana to be like, okay, the motherboard is like fucked up. And they're like, okay, well, we'll have to replace it, but in order for us to replace it, we've seen that the amount that you paid for it is way too low, so you're gonna have to pay the difference and the repair on top of that. And we're like, no, they told us that this is the discount that we're getting, and there's no reason for us to pay the difference. We talked about that. We talked to them, and then they were like, okay, fine, we won't do the difference shit anymore. And they just waived that completely. I was like, yeah, like that was the Apple Store gave us that discount. Come on.
Yeah, it's fucking company trying to fuck you. That's why you don't.
This is why you don't buy Apple.
Exactly.
Hey, otherwise Apple's been fine for me. I mean, my Apple products lasted longer than my Samsung products.
Theo's best friends with Tim Apple, if you didn't know.
I've heard this.
Oh shit!
I thought it was a conspiracy, but glad to hear it's confirmed.
Yeah, it's like a Kojima conspiracy, but it happened right here. You heard it.
You know
That's why Snake is over there in the background of his picture. Kojima is involved.
Yeah,
or I guess I should point on that way.
I've developed a new conspiracy theory that Kojima ruined video games. It wasn't really his fault, but it's all his fault. Like he wasn't trying to. He wasn't trying to, but he ruined video games.
I love how we're getting all these important references in.
How did he ruin the games? Like what part of Kojima's like stuff that ruined it? Because I kind of feel it's more somewhere else. But as you were saying.
No, we can talk about it later. You should intro the show. It ties into my opinions about everything that we're gonna talk about.
All right, so the automatone's dead. I didn't change the battery, so we're not gonna get that thing, and so everyone's safe from that.
That thing is battery powered.
May I suggest something else in its place, Theo?
What?
I may or may not have made a video intro for this episode today.
Oh,
if you would like to play that.
I'll put in the recorded because I'm not gonna bother. I don't have Chrome open or any other browser. It's literally right now just Discord and OBS, and that's how I'm gonna keep it for now.
This is a low budget operation, folks. We have intro videos we don't even show.
Oh well, the video part of it's not really important. It's just more so the audio.
Oh, the audio. Well, okay. You know what? Just send it to me anyway. I'll add it to the edited version. That way, some people have like a drive to watch it edited. So it'd be like a.
There we go.
Some exclusive content.
Yeah. Exclusive.
I mean, it's gonna go to YouTube anyway. So it's
VOD content.
Not like it will never see the light of day. It will be out there. But anyways, welcome to Big Bun Game Club, episode 34. We were playing Control, one of the best games ever made. Obviously, I think it's the most seminal game of our generation. Not really though, but I enjoyed it so far. But let's talk about Control. So how about that Kojima game?
Wait. I think I should go last. Has everyone played it?
I played it.
I played it previously.
I played a different game in the vein like what Retro did last week, I played something that has control in the title.
Interesting.
Kind of like Barbie control or something like that. Barbie mind control.
Better not be a shovelware game. If it is, I'm gonna like that's
I
gonna
hope
be
it's a
it.
shovelware game.
It doesn't matter. I was just being facetious. Well, anyway, since I played Control, I'll start. I played this before, but I wanted to play it just because I wanted to see the PlayStation 5, how it played on that. And it's funny to me, I played it on three different consoles. I had on the vanilla PlayStation 4 that ran like it ran alright, but obviously there's always like performance issues. There's always frame dips. When you pause it and then unpause it, it just goes down to like 1 frame per second. It's like it's running on a Mac, pretty much. I then got it on a Xbox One X, and it ran a little bit better. It's like, okay, so now instead of like chugging along for like, 5 minutes, it's like, okay, now when I leave the pause screen, it's like maybe a minute or whatever. And it was better. It was like, maybe not a minute exactly, but it was just like, okay, it doesn't like chug along for a long period of time. It's like, okay, it's running it fine. PS5, it runs it probably better, probably closer to the PC, but I wouldn't say it's 1-to-1. It's like kind of there. The controls are fun. The rumble is actually really nice. I do like what they did with the haptic feedback and the they didn't do enough with the resistant triggers that I wish it did. But that aside, the story I kind of enjoyed. It's not a very strong story. The one thing that it does that I don't like is a lot of logs you have to read to get other parts of the story. I'm not crazy about that. It's fine to have it here and there, like Resident Evil, for example, but this is like way too much. It's like I don't want to read all this. I just want to kind of just go on through. But I love the gameplay. That's kind of where I've been really falling in love with it a little bit more than than the other stuff. It's reading's not the issue, Yoshi. But you're playing a video game. You want to sit there and read like pages and pages and pages of lore. Like I don't mind the reading. I do like that you can pick it up at any time. But it's like, I don't know. It has to be a better ratio. Like Resident Evil, I don't mind reading the logs there or the documents. But it's the same thing with like Death Stranding, where it's like it's a little too much in one side than like how I would have preferred it. But I just think the gameplay is where it's at for me.
Do you find it as a little bit of a strange complaint, Theo, as someone who streams almost exclusively Atlas RPGs? Too much reading, dude.
But that's like stuff that you have to read. It's not like I'm going through a dungeon and then it's like, well, here's a little piece of
I know.
paper. Do you want to read that? It's like, so it's stuff that I have to read anyway because it's part of what I'm doing. Control, it's like they tell you where to go or whatever, and then it's like, here's 5 logs you're seeing in one room. It's like, I don't mind reading one, but then it's like, okay, oh, here's another one. Oh, I have to read this another thing. It's not like, oh, it's you reading. It's just like, I don't want to sit there for like hours. I'm playing for like 5 hours. I don't want half of that to go to reading.
I feel like this game is it's way more proportionate on like story scenes and reading than gameplay.
Yeah, it's about the balance, I suppose.
Yeah.
Especially
is there a
considering.
balance, though? It's
Well,
like the gameplay
it-
comes to a screeching halt, and then you're watching like an hour of cutscenes.
I don't know if
I
it's
don't
an
think
hour
it's-
of
I don't think it's
cutscenes.
that bad.
That's a little, yeah, because the cutscenes are
It-
very short, I feel.
Are they?
and it's
I
just
mean, they're
how
released, like,
much
10
action
minutes.
you get versus the little bit of cutscenes and logs and stuff.
I think
don't know.
the only time the cutscenes get kind of long is really when you're like the beginning and some of like the set pieces when you're going to a whole different area or something. But those didn't really bother me because it's not like you're stopping everywhere to go. The only thing that I would say is maybe it's just sometimes when the camera zooms in on the character, I kind of just don't care what she's saying. A little bit like I have a little bit of a hard time like remembering like they'll be talking and then it'll just be zooming to kind of talk to the player. I don't
You
know.
like the story though.
I like the story, but it's just the dialogue is just I don't know how to describe it. I think it's just the dialogue is too it's really like it's a fan fiction of a David Lynch film. And it's not really
Yeah,
it doesn't have what
pretty
I
much.
love about David Lynch. Like David Lynch has a lot of cool stuff that I love, but this doesn't have that. And I think that's the problem. Like it has all these cool ideas like oh, objects of power is like mundane objects like a slide projector, a telephone. Like I like the ideas with that, and I do like that it ties into the side missions. The side missions themselves are that, but it kind of just feels like it's just kind of doing like the bare minimum to get that Lynchian feel to it.
How far did
Did
you
you
get?
play the DLCs, Tio?
I did do the DLCs. I for this run I made it to I can't remember the name of the room. It's like paraphysiology room or whatever. It's like right after there's like a room with this black sphere that you try to lock into another room.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
the like the glass thing on the side of the room, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know the one.
So that I just got past that. I'm not like super far, but it's like I've already played the game, so I'm just kind of going, just at my own pace with that. I was also a little bit confused as if we were gonna be doing Control or something else. So that was the other thing I kind of was like hesitant on even starting Control as well, but and I got also caught up in Guilty Gear because that's another game I've been like itching to get. I was so close to Celestial Rank, but that's a discussion for another day. How far did you get, Charles, in Control?
Uh, I played. I think I played a total of like an hour and a half, and I got to right after the part. Okay, what was the part I got to? It's like some dude was floating in the air. You had to shoot him, and like
Like
I don't
half
know.
the game right there.
What's that?
That's like you've described every second room in
actually-
the game.
Wait, I got it even better. I mean, I have a better way to explain where I am. Because I got to like the first boss, and then I went to like this motel or something,
Oh,
like,
okay.
and then I got like the voice of God or something, and then you can like talk to people through the phone
The
or
voice of
whatever. the fuck it is.
Kojima.
Yeah, voice of
Okay.
Kojima. And I don't know if you can already tell, but I fucking hated this game. And I'm just like, I apologize, but I can't. I already got a refund for it. Like, I'm not playing this. I spent $8 on it in the Epic Game Store, and it was just like, dude, this game is just.
I don't care about the refund. It's spending the money in Epic is what offends me.
I had no other option. It's not on Steam.
Yes, it is.
Is it?
I literally own it on Steam. I
couldn't find
pirated it on
Steam.
on Epic the day it came out, and because I won't buy anything on there, and then like a year later it launched on Steam as the Ultimate Edition.
Really? I spent $8 on it, and I disliked it so much. Yeah, I'd rather have bought a burger at Five Guys because I would have gotten more enjoyment out of it. Because it's just a generic third-person shooter. Like, there's nothing,
I don't know.
and I almost felt like I was being pranked because, like, it's a lot of the things that bothered me about Death's Door. This game also does it. So I was like, I'm not fucking forcing my way through this game again. Like a game like this that I don't want to play. So I've just like played it for an hour and a half, and I was like, and it's like, okay, wait a second. The thing that distinguishes this game from another third-person shooter is that you have like these psychic powers. And I was skipping literally every cutscene. I was like, fuck this, fuck this, fuck this, fuck this, fuck this. It took me an hour to get the power where you can throw shit at people. And it wasn't even that fun. Like, it was like,
I will
you
say
pick things up and you toss it at people. And it's like, doesn't even really require any skill.
the power gets a little bit better as you level it up because you eventually get to throw enemies at other enemies. But I don't agree that that's a generic third person shooter because it doesn't rely on cover. Like you don't have to. There's no like there's no cover system, so you're just actively moving. It just encourages you to keep moving and shooting enemies. So that I found a lot more entertaining to do.
I mean, did you like what was the Platinum Games one?
Vanquish.
It's like a slower
Vanquish.
version of that what is it called? Vanquish.
Vanquish.
Yeah, which is like I didn't even like that game either, and I thought it was an interesting take, but it's like kind of the same thing as that, where it's like there is no cover, but you're like, well, I guess there's cover in Vanquish, but like it's all about
Vanquish, but
moving around really fast and like using these powers. I thought it was so generic. I don't understand what's so special about it. And then it's like really jarring with the story segments because it's like, first of all, is there are they just in a world where everyone has superpowers? Like I don't like she's just like, I guess I can read minds now. And it's like, what? Like I'm transported into this weird motel all of a sudden, and it's like she acts like nothing
Well,
special is happening. And it's like, you are now the chairman. I'm in your head. What the fuck? And like I
it's
was skimming through the story,
well,
obviously. But, like,
it's not that she reads minds. The person that she's talking to are just kind of like memories that she's hearing of this other guy, or whatever. It's not. It's like pretty much whatever that gun like recorded of Director Trench was saying. That's what she's hearing. It's not like she's reading someone's mind or whatever. It's that it's implied because the person just tells you we don't know how this gun works because it deals with like everything in it. It's all alien shit pretty much. It's like, oh, this other thing came from like another dimension and we're just trying to experiment with it. And that's why like that building's called like the oldest house. That's why it kind of feels like a lot like Twin Peaks because that's kind of how they explain like the black cabin and all. It's like, oh, this is just alien shit that we found in the woods one day and shit happens. And
yeah, but why does she think it's so normal? Like, why is she just like, I guess I have superpowers. I'm shooting everyone in this office all of a sudden. Like, what?
I think it's just because she she also talks about like when they were younger, they met this other being and like the that she doesn't know what it was called, and then when they saw this being like took care of the bad guys or whatever at that time, and then that organization found them. It took her brother away to study his his abilities or whatever the fuck, and that's why she knew of these things. Is just that that's why she was able to find the building in the first place. It was like, oh, you had a mind to find the building. That's why you're able to find it because you know of all this stuff that happened. If she never had that experience, she wouldn't have found that building and all this. It's just that she had that experience when they were kids, and that's why she like knew of this stuff. Like she knew of the hiss, which are the enemies and all that, because she had that experience when she was younger.
I couldn't be
That's
any
also
less
what she's actually talking to the whole time. She's not actually talking to the player. She's talking to the like being thing in her. You probably see you didn't get far enough, but
No,
whenever she's talking to the player, there's like a little kind of you'll see
Sphere.
like the circles and all on the edge of the screen. That's the being that's like in her mind that's communicating back to her, and she's talking to that. But it
yeah,
just seems like she's talking to you.
yeah, I couldn't be any less interested in any of this.
Yeah.
And it's like if you're gonna if there's a gimmick in your game, right, that sets it apart, why would it take an hour to get to the point where I can just use my telekinetic powers? Just give me the fucking telekinetic powers from the beginning, so I can just like play around with them instead of I have to slog through a goddamn regular ass third person shooter that's like
Well,
not
yeah,
challenging at all. And then
it's like everything.
what's that?
It's like everything. Like you'll progress through them and you'll unlock more abilities and better versions of the abilities and all. I mean, sure, it's not the most sandbox fun thing in the world to do, but
I kind of
It
I
doesn't have
do
to be sandbox. It's just fucking boring.
I do kind of agree about the pacing of the abilities because I was in the beginning. I was like, man, I really wish I could, because I knew the abilities that I was getting eventually, and I was like, oh, I really wish I could like dash right now. Like when do I get the dash? And then it's like, okay, now I have the dash. So I do agree with that side of it.
Yeah, just
uh,
fucking give me the abilities
I
so I can play the game instead of listening to your shitty story that I don't care about.
I also do like
Jesus.
the game does like it tells you where to go, but there's no like correct path to get there. It just kind of lets you wander to this building, so you do get the sense of like it gets way more like cryptic as you go on. So it's to the point where you'll end up being lost a few times, which
I'm gonna say the word.
you
I'm
may
gonna say
not
the word.
like it.
No, it's a Metroidvania again.
ah, bullshit. It's
I mean, it
fucking
kind of is.
Bullshit.
no.
I haven't played it obviously, but that I knew that when I was wandering through the game, like I was going to places that I wasn't really supposed to go to yet. Like for
Yeah.
instance, like right before that first boss, there's this room that just kills you because like apparently obviously you need some like shield or something to get through it, but like you walk into it and the voices start getting louder and then you just take damage, right? So it's like obviously, okay, I'm not supposed to go here yet because there's some ability. But again, like I just couldn't give a fuck about this game at all. And I was like, I don't even want to play this.
What did both of you think of the gun gimmick?
What about it's like instead of your like it's like you just have unlimited ammo and it just recharges?
Yeah, it regenerates, and the fact that, let's say if you have it in handgun mode, you can use 12 shots because of its power and skill and abilities, versus if you put it in shotgun mode, you might have 4 because it uses a bigger chunk of the bar. You have like machine gun mode, which has 30 little tiny ones and stuff like that.
I don't really care. It's just like the Spectacular Sparky. Same system. Different guns have different charge times or whatever.
I do like the customization of the weapon. So that's the one thing. It's funny. Yoshi brings up, oh, you should have played Max Payne 1. Much better story. And I never really.
Actually, going to bring that up.
I never knew there was a connection to Max Payne in this game because I never played Max Payne. The only one I played was Max Payne 3, which I think that's probably a divisive Max Payne game, but. I never played the first two, so everyone's like, "Wow, this has this kind of reference." I was like, I don't know, like flew over my head. But
is it made by the same people?
Yeah.
Or is it just like references?
It's Remedy, yeah.
Which is funny because it seems that so the DLC that Retro brings up, it kind of ties into it's kind of silly. It's kind of like it becomes a cinematic universe almost because it brings in Alan Wake, and the game also brings up Max Payne, so everyone's like, oh, this is like a cinematic universe, but I think the developers came out and said, just because we reference other games doesn't mean that they're all connected. It's just a thing we just happen to reference. I think the only connection is just Alan Wake is the only one that's like more harder, but I don't know what that would imply for Alan Wake 2 if it means anything for that game. That's
Isn't Alan Wake like basically the same type of game? Like
no.
Don't talk about Alan Wake. That's my job. But you continue amongst yourselves for the moment.
Okay. So and it's funny. So I did, instead of playing this game, I did play a lot of. I finally picked up Yakuza Like a Dragon, and I did really like that.
Okay, good.
But it has some of the same problems as this game, where it's like, for the first hour of Yakuza, you're just a single party, and there's like, you couldn't even try to lose in the first part of the game. I'm like,
yeah.
I was about to be like, fuck this game too, until you get another party member, and then the battles get way more interesting.
I do like a Dragon. My only issue I've had with that game is that it feels like the difficulty is just sporadic. You'll get into rooms that are just like, okay, easy. Then like you'll fight in a boss fight, and it's like, all right, this will just one hit kill your party without even trying. Like you can like be like smart about it. Like, okay, I'm gonna block. The other's gonna block whatever, and the enemy will just annihilate you. And it's like, okay, I guess I have to grind. But it's like my level is like right on par with the boss, and it's like that's not good enough. Like I have to, and then not to get into super spoilers about it, but
spoil the whole game. Don't give a fuck.
The final boss,
skipping the story in that too.
The final boss is a piece of shit. I hate the boss because the game has this cool party like class system. It's like, okay, pick whatever class you want. You don't have to be the default, whatever. I get to the final boss, and this boss has a buff that is like, it can literally want to hit you no matter what. No matter what. And it's like, okay, so what do I do? I look up, everyone's like, yeah, you need to like use this.
Wait. I care about spoilers of gameplay. Don't tell me how to beat them.
Well, anyways, the game just kind of shuns you away from what you want to do, and it's like, oh, okay, so then what was the point? Like, it just kind of undermines.
You gotta have a strategy to beat them. I can't defend the game yet because I haven't gotten far enough. I don't even know that there's a class system yet. I've only gotten to the part.
When you'll get to it, you'll know. It's just like, I just played it. I was like, I don't know why I would even waste my time if the final boss is kind of demoted, like just says no, pretty much, because there's no way. Like, the only way you'll get lucky is if the AI like targets everyone but you. If it just homes in on everyone but you the whole match, you'll be better off. But
Retro, you look like you have something to say about this.
No, I am. I was just linking something to someone else. No, it just occurred to me while you were talking about like class systems and final bosses. I actually just remembered I got the game wrong. You said Yakuza Like a Dragon, so you're talking Yakuza 7 with the turn-based RPG combat. I was thinking Yakuza 6 Song of Life, which is what I was thinking of. I've never played Yakuza 7.
I think you'd like it. It's kind of. I mean, I haven't gotten far enough to
Everyone,
say yet.
everyone says that to me because I love all of Yakuza and I love turn-based RPGs, but just for some reason I've never tried it and I've no intention of trying it. It just I see Yakuza as a series that is Yakuza 0 to 6. It's that type of game, that style of gameplay. I don't want to play a Yakuza game or a game with the Yakuza characters in the Yakuza universe and whatever you want to call it in a different
But
style.
there
It could be a good game. I just don't want to play
Don't you
it in that
think
kind of
though?
way.
Don't you think the Yakuza game loop is exactly like a turn-based RPG, except for the way the combat plays out?
I mean, yeah, I guess. I mean,
But it's
it feels like
also-
practically every Yakuza game is the same in a lot of ways. But there's something about it. When I played Yakuza, not to go on a tangent because we'd be here for ages, but TLDR, when I played Yakuza 0 for the first time, about 10, 15 minutes into it, I fell in love with that game. Like, absolutely ridiculously in love with that game. It sold me on the entire series, and I just went hard at it over the course of like a year and a half, 2 years. And that is Yakuza to me.
but it's
Play
like
7. Shut up. Play it.
Okay, fine.
I have far too many other things to do, like Soul Hackers 2, because it's not coming to Switch.
But Yakuza Like a Dragon is like Persona 5. Exactly like it, even though the game compares itself to Dragon Quest. But the characters are like
And it
different
has heart.
characters, though. So it's not like.
I completely don't believe that because Like a Dragon, and I haven't seen, obviously I can't, like I said, I can't defend it yet. But because of the way that the environment and the way the characters move affect the battle system, that's where I think the game is going to be way more interesting than a lot of RPGs I've ever played. First of all, like, because the placement of where people are going and where they go changes everything.
But I've
Like,
also.
it's not
So
just a
it's like
regular
Chrono Trigger.
I agree with you, Charles.
Kind
I do like that, but it's just it feels kind of buggy sometimes because I would see characters just run into a wall for like a minute, and then it's like, wait a second, I have to go. Like it took forever. Like it was this one match. I'm like, okay, I have to beat it. I have to beat it. Come on, you can do it. And it's just I just see this character just running into like a wall over and over. It's like they didn't think this through. Like they didn't like program. Hey, there's a wall there. Go around it.
Yeah, they just make you like teleport if you get caught behind a wall. But you can also, and I don't know if this is actually true or not, but I think you can influence the direction your character moves in right at the beginning too. Like
A
depending
little
on where you
bit.
hit the joystick, they'll shuffle a certain way. So I don't know yet. I haven't seen like the intricacies of it, but I think that's what's gonna make it so interesting, especially because like the way weapons work, right? It's like if you make your character go in the path of a weapon, they use that as part of their attack. Like there's a lot of things that could be very interesting, and like with the team attack stuff, but I haven't seen it yet because for the first 2 hours of the game, you're just watching a shitty story and
Hey, I thought the story was
breezing through,
good.
just pressing attack because nothing can beat you, which really pissed me off because I'm like, just let me play the real part of the game. So, which is why I think Kojima ruined video games.
All right, now
And
we get to the meat of
specifically-
the meat and potatoes.
specifically because
Kojima.
of Metal Gear Solid 2. Because Metal Gear Solid 2 did such a good job of like making a cinematic experience of your gameplay. Because like
Okay.
but a lot of that lends itself to the fixed camera angles and the limited gameplay, right? Like these games are like Control is like I'm just a third person shooter and you can just do whatever you want and now I'm going to abruptly do these stupid story segments that you don't care about. Whereas like Metal Gear Solid, you start off, you're already playing the game, and then it fucking hits you with all this story. So it's like I'm already invested in the characters, but now everything is trying to be a fucking movie and a video game. And it's like I don't care about your movie. I want to play a video game. It's all Kojima's fault with his cinematic ass. He had Harry Gregson Williams fucking compose the score, who was a film score person. Like
You know what's kind of funny though about
fucked
that
everything up.
is
You
We
need
got-
to play more Nintendo games, Charles.
there was a
No,
lawsuit.
no one needs
Play
to play more Nintendo games.
There was a
I might
lawsuit
become a
with
Nintendo fanboy.
there was
But
a
those
lawsuit
don't
with
have stories.
Good.
But there was a lawsuit with not Harry Gregson Williams, but with Metal Gear because they had the same theme as some Russian song, so they had to change the theme
Yeah.
of Metal Gear after that. But I understand where you're coming from, Charles, with MGS2 being like the source of all the issues, but I kind of think it's more with just the trend of Western games like Naughty Dog and like Uncharted, Last of Us, like those kind of games. I think did way more harm than Metal Gear Solid 2, because everyone's like saying like how MGS2 has like all these long cutscenes, but they don't really. It's nowhere near as bad as MGS4, but that's another issue. It's just I just think it's this trend of gaming mostly in the PS3 360 era that kind of lead to this. But I do think that MGS2 kind of gave the motivation for a lot of people. So I get that. So I can't say you're wrong.
But that's the
I
thing.
wouldn't. I wouldn't say it's just
MGS2 did
MGS2.
it
It's
well.
more so just Kojima in general. Because like MGS1 had a decent amount as well for the size of the game and length of the game,
Yeah.
and you know the technology of the time. But when you gave Kojima access to the PS2 and what that could do, MGS2, MGS3, 75-minute ladder climbs, you get the idea. And then he goes to the PS3, makes it even worse, and yeah.
But that's the thing. Is
Kojima's
like,
always been that way.
yeah, I mean the worst of MGS1 though was like the codec calls, right? It was like that shit would take forever. But even then, it was like integrated into the gameplay. Like I know it's not that like special, but the whole thing with like um use the fucking game box to figure out Meryl's code. Like it's like intertwined with the game.
Which
And
is
like
kind of funny.
the different context of when you call people, you're like uncovering things about the game, even though it plays out in these fucking segments. Now I feel like people misunderstood. Even Kojima himself misunderstood why those games were successful and why that worked, because it's like now it's like watch this movie and play 2 seconds of a game that we're just like here's a fucking video game, instead of like a game that challenges you and like actually put some thought into the game design and gameplay. Like I'm just fucking pressing A to get to the next cutscene, and then I press A to skip them because I don't fucking want to watch it.
You'd hate
I'm glad
Snatcher.
I'm glad you brought up the whole Meryl code on the box thing. Here's a fun fact for you. Back in the day, when I first played MGS, the day it came out, I rented MGS1.
Right.
But the place I rented it from, they didn't give you the regular box. They had their own box. And of course, in the cutscene right before that codec call to say, "Oh, it's on the back of the CD case." Not the DARPA chief, President Baker gives you a CD item in the game. So I'm trying to like look in the menus, like hold on L2, looking at the whole thing, trying to find the thing. Eventually, because this was 1999, or I think it was early 2000s when it launched over here, but I eventually just started at like 141.001 and just
No
went up
way.
through them. Luckily, her one is like number 12, so it wasn't too bad. But I always just have that little like funny story for
I
that.
do feel like once
That's
they emulated it, that issue came back because they didn't have the game box anymore. So when you got on the PS3 network or whatever, it's like
Does it digital manual? Oh, PS3. Sorry, I thought you meant the PS Classic version, because I think that has a digital manual where you scan the QR code, shows you the box or something.
I don't think so.
But yeah, the emulated version, not so much.
Well, how'd you do in the PS3 one, Theo?
Well, no, like the PS3, like you just download off the PlayStation Store, but there's no manual in it because you just download the game file and that's all you're getting. So there's no box or anything. So when they tell you behind the game box, it's like, okay, like
that's the other great thing about that game though, is because they try to be cute with you all the time. They're like, oh, look on the back of the game box. But then you can just keep calling people and eventually be like, fuck it. The code is 14112. 141.12. Like I don't know if you've seen it, but there's always a workaround. Like even the whole thing with the controller port for what's his face?
Psycho Mantis.
Yeah, they'll just be like, you know what? You could just like knock off the masks on those statues and it works the same way. So it's like there's always a workaround, and it's like it's the idea that like in those games, like gameplay and story were treated as equals, and like the story informed parts of the gameplay. But then it just got to the point where it's like, fuck it, watch these cinematics and then play this mediocre game, which I feel like 90% of games are now. Like I don't care about your story. I want to challenge you guys to do this. Skip all the fucking story of a game and see if you still like it. Because you guys seem to care about stories. I fucking don't care at all. I don't want to hear it. I want to play a video game.
Depends on the game.
Runners only.
yeah,
What's
Like
that?
I mean, Like I said, it depends on the game. I will gladly turn on Doom 2016 or Doom Eternal or hell, even old school OG Doom or Doom 2.
Doom doesn't
There's
have
nothing in it.
cutscenes
They're
like
just
that.
pure gameplay, and I'm fine with that.
The added
It just
cutscenes in
depends on
Doom
the game I'm
2016,
playing.
Charles. Come on.
There's
What's
a
that?
story in Doom.
Doom
Well, no,
2016
see,
and
that's
Doom
that's my,
Eternal,
that's
they
my
added
point.
story to it. Like they gave like especially Doom Eternal. Doom Eternal has cutscenes in it. Like it's literally
How long
like
are they? 43 seconds, and he says, "I'm gonna kick an alien in the asshole," and that's
Ba-
pretty much.
basically,
yeah.
in
Yeah,
fact,
like that's
right
fine.
at the start of Doom 2016, they try to force a cutscene on you with like to tell you the story, but the character just says no, fuck this, and breaks the screen and walks off.
Good. Exactly.
I
That's
get,
what I
That's my
want.
point. Like it's just
but
balls to the
it's
wall
as I
gameplay.
said. Like for me, it's not. If I play a game, it's like yeah. If you're like if the game goes out of its way to give you a nice story, then that's where I want to focus on, and the gameplay is like whatever. Like I look at that as both like synergies. If the story is shit but the gameplay is great, I'll stick around. I don't care. Like it's like hey, the gameplay is great. I don't give a shit about the story. Like that can go to the wolves at that point. But if the gameplay is shit and the story is shit, then why bother? But if the story is good and interesting and the gameplay is like shitty or whatever, I might tolerate it. It really at that point it becomes how much I can stomach before I say enough is enough. Like there are a few games I feel where it's like okay, the gameplay is shit and I'm interested in the story, but I can't take this anymore. This is just enough and I just stop. But if it's like hey,
Yeah.
like it really depends. I can't say like the story carries the game for me, and I can't say the other way around all the time. It's really, but it does go back to gameplay as well. So it's.
But here's another thing in stories that really bothers me. And okay, Control is like this because I mentioned earlier, like she just gets like superpowers and she's like, whatever. Like she just like picked up a candy bar and it's like nothing happened. Another game that does this is like Ichiban in Yakuza. Like everyone calls him this fuck up. He's like supposed to be this bumbling idiot, but then he's just punching dudes in the face and knocking them out in one hit. It's like, is he like a capable enforcer or a dumbass? Like I don't understand.
Well,
this.
it's for him. It's
Another
more
one,
like
Tomb Raider, the new Tomb Raider. Dude, that one bothered me the most. It's like she's like, oh my god, I can't go on the whole time. And then next thing you know, you're just shooting dudes in the face with a bow and arrow, like taking on hordes of dudes. It's like, this is not tonally consistent with what I'm doing as part of the gameplay. And conversely, like when you think about Raiden, like obviously Raiden's an idiot because he's like a rookie and he's like thrown into this conspiracy, but he's also a child soldier and run through all these VR missions. So it's like
His
it makes
name's
sense
Jack.
that yeah, it makes sense that he can do all these things, but like it also makes sense that he's an idiot. Like that he doesn't he's like, what's going on?
well
But
with
it's like I don't believe that the Tomb Raider I don't believe that Lara Croft is like, I can't go on. And then she just kicking dudes in the face, stabbing in the neck like she's like a trained killer. Like it's so stupid.
well I agree with Tomb Raider. I
Charles,
mean
remember
that's
when we watched Titanic together?
No.
it must have been a great time.
Yeah,
But
that's great too. Like because she's a fucking AI sent to slip him up. Or she might not have been an AI. Who knows? But at least it makes sense with what's actually happening in the game. Like it's just so fucking stupid.
well with each well Tomb Raider I agree. With that okay that's like an example because I liked Rise of Tomb Raider just the gameplay. The story I didn't give a shit because it was literally just another origin story. So it's like okay whatever fuck it. So I'll enjoy the gameplay of that. So there's that. But the with Ichiban like they don't it's not that he's not capable, it's just that everyone thinks he's just an idiot, but he's capable because he works for the Yakuza. It's just that he keeps giving his money away. Like he gets money and he never gives it to his family. It's like whatever. Fuck, he's like a lovable loser. He's not like the best Yakuza, but that doesn't mean he's a bad fighter or anything like that.
But that's kind of it's implied in a lot of the dialogue, which most of it I skipped, so don't mind me. But like a lot of the time they're like, "You're just a fucking you stink," and then next thing you know, he's fighting 6 dudes at one time with knives, and he's like wins.
Well, yeah,
Like,
but it's
they act like he's a complete fuck up.
yeah because he keeps giving money away. Like
That's
there's a
easy.
mission and he gets the money. He gets all this money that's supposed to go to his family. He gives it back to the people. He doesn't give it back to his family. So they're like, "Why are you late on your returns? What the fuck's going on here?"
Everything he does is technically correct. He's just he's a
Ethically,
big, he's
but
like, you wanted his wallet, and he gives him an empty wallet. Like, it's so fucking stupid.
yeah, but they're just like,
But
come on, you have to, you can't keep going back with like no money. Eventually, you have to, do whatever. I mean, they're
yeah, but they keep him on this low rung and stuff. I'm sorry, if a guy can take out 6 dudes that are stabbing him with knives, like that's not how they're gonna treat him. They're gonna be like, okay, this guy is a badass, and we need to put him somewhere higher up. Instead, he's like the errand boy for like the main guy. It's so dumb. Like, figure it out. And like even that second character they give you, I forget his name, but he's like the
oh,
bum,
Dachi.
and it's like, yeah, and they no, that's the cop, right?
Oh, okay, Namba, right? Because
Yes,
yeah.
they're like, it's like he's like this genius doctor and shit, and then like you play him and and he's like so smart and articulate, and then you put him in gameplay, and then all of a sudden it's like his special move is to spray them with stinky breath. I'm like, I wouldn't have thought. I thought this guy was like
Well,
a brilliant guy.
he's a bum. He lived down the streets, so he's gonna have like stinky moves. You can eventually give him
I
better
don't
moves,
believe
but well,
I don't believe that a guy that like can stitch up a guy and save his life on the street has such poor hygiene that his breath knocks people on the floor.
okay,
I'm
where's
sorry.
he taking a shower in the lake that's
Part
full
of the
of
comedy,
trash?
dude. It's a comedy attack.
You don't cape for this shit. Yeah, and like John said, like it's all jokes, so I'm fine with it. But it's also so tonally completely off of what is presented in the story, besides what's in the game.
I
That's all I'm
don't know.
saying. Like,
I just like goofy shit, so I can
yeah,
get past some of that.
but yeah,
That's
so
Yakuza in a nutshell. Goofy shit.
that's true.
Oh,
But
so
yeah, I don't want to have two things with completely different tones. Like, it's just jarring.
so now I think we should move on to Just Gamer John's game that has control in the title, whatever
Yes.
that game that is.
So I decided to pick up a game that was in my storage closet. New Play Control Donkey Kong Jungle Beat. For the Nintendo Wii.
Oh,
So,
okay.
I was thinking the
Weird.
GameCube game with the bongos.
I was thinking Donkey Konga, yeah.
yeah, so of a series of line of new Play Control titles. You might have saw them in a Wii bargain bin somewhere. New Play Control style was like all the rage back in the day. They had Mario Tennis, Mario Golf, all the
Oh,
new Play
yeah.
Controls, usually as budget titles. So you could get them for like 20 bucks or less. So instead of banging around on bongos going like that, you're flailing the Wii remote up and down. Pretty fun game, not the same as the GameCube one, but still a very solid game. I really had a lot of fun with Jungle Beat, much as I did on the GameCube back when I was like probably like 10, 12 years old, banging the bongos, driving my parents crazy.
So like, what's the game though? How do you play?
Alright, so Donkey Kong Jungle Beat, it's a little bit different. You move Donkey Kong with the nunchuck, left, right, up, down, yeah. And then to like do a beat or to attack, you shake the Wii remote. So there's no like A or B button. You'll do some wiggling and whatnot. It's a very interesting control scheme. But very simple to pick up. Not a hard game by any means. It's hard to 100%. I will say that just because you have to get like combo chain and keep it up throughout the level. And some of them is like you need like 10,000 bananas or whatever. And so you're kind of like going through trails of bananas, chaining combo attacks, doing rolls. It's kind of rhythm based too, but it's a side scrolling, platformer. If you haven't played Donkey Kong Jungle Beat, I would highly recommend.
Is it like an infinite runner type of game? Is that how
No,
it works?
no, you have control and like there's level itself, like you can have free control throughout the level.
I
So there's
think-
no like it's a side scrolling platformer, but you're, using Wii remote, waggle.
Yeah, because I played that on the GameCube and I didn't. I dropped it after like one stage because it just kind of felt like it was doing the same kind of tricks. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, I've
because on the GameCube, you're just, you're beating the drums. You tap right on the drum to go right, tap left on the drum to go left. You clap your hands together to attack or something.
it just made me want like a more proper Donkey Kong game than what
Yeah,
that
it's not
was.
a
Like, it was-
proper game.
And then we got Tropical Breeze, and that was
Well,
a
you
breeze.
got Donkey Kong Country Returns first, and then Tropical Freeze.
Yeah.
Yeah, that feels like it's carpal tunnel city to be controlling a platformer by hitting the thing every
It
time you
Oh,
want to
it was,
go.
it's so fun when you're like 10, 12 years old, and you're upstairs in your room beating on the drums, like.
This brings
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, this brings back my question from last week: is why won't anyone think of the parents? Like, you have your fucking kid banging on drums all day to play video games.
Fuck them. That's
if you think
why.
that's bad, when Wii Fit first launched, at the time, the place I was living, I was upstairs in my bedroom, like running on the like
Well-
the
I was
pad,
doing the
and
run-in
Jesus
motion.
Okay,
Christ.
but at least
Yeah,
Wii Fit, you're getting exercise out of it. The worst is Wii Music. That I rented from GameFly. It is just a glorified noisemaker. All you do is just shake shit. It's awful, and it's like it felt like a scam at to a degree that Nintendo even put it out. Like the presentation they did was also bad. Like that was just a meme in and of itself. And they're like, yeah, buy this, and it's like this is awful. Like imagine
I think
imagine
I-
a kid
I
being like, oh, I
bought
want
that in a
this.
bargain bin for like $5.
That's way too much
music.
for that game. It should be $1, and that's being
Wow.
generous.
Should have been a free download.
Yeah, it should have been. It should have been like a tech demo for the Wii. It's just I was like, why?
Originally, it started out as Wii Opera.
Well,
Like there was a
whatever.
demo like way back in the day. It was like Wii Opera, and they could conduct the opera with your Wii remote and whatnot, and then it turned into Wii Music.
And then you got the Wii Speak,
They
which
kept
is
like that
another.
opera section.
Yeah, the Wii Speak was another thing that is another curse to parents because that's just a mic you put on top of your TV, and that's how you talk online. It's like who thought this was a better alternative? You're pretty much like yelling in your room, like, "Hi guys, fuck you!" It's like, oh shit, like this is where you gotta.
I mean,
like,
to be
you know what-
fair,
you know what came bundled with that, right?
it was Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing, baby.
Animal Crossing, and a couple of games supported it. What was it? It was The Conduit. I don't know if any of you have played that.
I think
I
I
know
rented
of it,
it
but
and
I
never
haven't played
never
it.
played it. I think I got
So
bored.
they had two conduits. There was the original and then the second one. I almost recommend it just for the story alone. And I don't want to spoil it if you haven't played it, but it's absolutely kind of crazy because it does a sequel hook in two, and they never made a third one.
Yeah, these two sucked, from what I heard.
Like,
Like I literally heard
You know
like
what?
it was a
You
big
know what, Theo?
disappointment.
Just for that, I'm gonna spoil it for
Good.
you. All right. At the
Okay.
end, all right, George Washington and Abraham Lincoln come back from the past to help you take on the aliens.
Uh,
Feels a little bit off.
too bad they didn't make that game. I'm trying to play as Abe Lincoln, fucking shooting aliens.
But I do think it's
That's
funny
what the
that
third game apparently was gonna be.
They fucked
it's
up.
kind of
They
it's
should've
kind
made
of
it.
funny that the Wii Speak launched in like 2010 or something, and here we are, two consoles, and 12 years later, and Nintendo are still shit at
Hey.
online multiplayer and online conversation and stuff.
That's
Let-
true.
Let me get this
Mobile
app on
phone.
my phone and just use that like one game or 3 games support.
I mean,
I think nowadays people just use Discord anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's
I will say
people with brains.
I will say with Nintendo and online, it's like I never use the mic when I go online anyway, and I always hate it when like if I meet someone in a fighting game, like, oh, this guy's really good, I want to be friends with him so I can just match him anyway. I hate when they fucking tell me, oh, so you want to go on party chat and play some fighting games? Like, no, I just want to play fighting games. I don't need a party chat for this. But So I'm
Theo, we
fine.
could party chat in Mario Party. We could talk shit, like be like, "Hey, look at you! You rolled a 1, motherfucker."
Hey, that's different. I mean, we were talking now, so I'm like, that's fine. But if it's like just a random person I meet online that I have no intention of talking to, it's like I don't need a party chat, whatever. But with Nintendo, it's like, hey, I don't mind just adding people online, and now you can invite people in game, so that's straightforwardly solid. But I always think people are just too harsh on Nintendo's current way you can do it, because you can just add friends regardless, like normal people. There's like a menu. You can type in the name, whatever. The Wii and the Wii U were just awful at just doing that. It's like you need some like phone
Are
number.
you sure about that, Theo?
Yeah, I've added people on Switch. I never had an issue.
It's always been
there is
friend
a
codes on the
menu.
Switch.
Yeah,
But
but
on the Switch, there's
I
a
don't
menu
know.
for like people you've played with. So like if you go to like your past games list or something, and like
Okay.
the Switch
Yeah.
menu, there's like, hey, you played with such and such person. Would you like to invite them as a friend or whatever?
Like there
Okay,
is a
I
code
didn't
to.
know that one because I never played online.
I think if
And
you.
like I think Smash even does that too.
Yeah, I mean, I think there might be like some certain way you do have to go through friend code, but it's nowhere near as bad as the Wii, where it's just that was just a nightmare to even have a friends list. But it's not the best. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and say, well, Nintendo's great online, but I do think that they're at least making more progress than I would expect them to do. I was expecting the Switch Online to be even worse than it is now, so it's like, well, at least it's not as bad as it could have been. That
So
Nintendo's
with like
known for.
Retro,
allow-
if I somehow played with Retro and Theo and Charles all in Mario Party, but I'm only Theo's friend, I can add Retro and Charles after the fact or during because I played with them, and I don't need their friend code.
Okay, so they basically brought their internet abilities up to like the OG Xbox of the early
Yeah.
2000s. Gotcha.
Theo, do not allow the #1 video game company to fucking provide a shitty experience for
No,
something
I'm-
that's been
I'm-
fine. Like computers have been able to do this
For
shit
20
since like
years.
1997.
No, I'm not
Like, that's
saying.
not acceptable.
I'm not saying it's acceptable. I'm just saying that I'm surprised it's not as bad as I was expecting them to be. That's not saying that they're great and they have no room for improvement. I mean, they have a lot to shit to fix.
You're
I'm not
saying
gonna.
the
It's
bar is
bad.
so low that you'll continue to support their products even though they can't even fucking provide a voice chat.
Okay, but like, you know, I wanted to play No More Heroes 3. I had to buy a Switch for that. I want to play Mario Odyssey. I have to buy a Switch for that. So I mean, either
They
way,
don't.
like
Well,
you
now
can't.
No More Heroes 3 is coming out multi-console.
I didn't know it was gonna be on the PS5 in like 2017. I mean, I'm not. I can't see into the
you can emulate.
future.
Big ups emulation.
But
Better experience than the Switch.
but I,
Dolphin, baby.
as much as I
Well,
agree,
it's
like
Yuzu and Ryujinx first.
to
Whatever.
not like support bad practices, it's just that it doesn't work ideally because if let's say that because Nintendo has a history of like, hey, if something doesn't sell, they'll just assume, hey, no one wants this, and just leave it and continue to do bad practices. So it doesn't really solve the problem. Like if no one bought, like
That's why
let's
you
say,
don't buy. That's why you don't buy anything from them.
yeah, and
like,
they'll make worse products. So it's like,
Good, and then
Okay.
they'll tank. Fuck them.
yeah, and then
They've been fucking with the video game industry since 1983 or whatever the fuck. So I hate them.
Yeah,
They
you'll-
just
They're,
shit
they're the
my
one
balls.
that brain damaged multiple generations of Nintendo and dent-headed fanboys.
they're not going anywhere. I mean, if that was the case, Alice would have changed their ways years ago, and they're not changing.
I don't know. The genericized trademark is starting to shift over to PlayStation. You know how like every old person calls any game console a Nintendo? They're starting to say PlayStation now, man. Nintendo might be gone in like 10 years.
We'll
They're gonna
see.
go the way of Sega.
I mean, the Nintendo doomed crowd has been saying that every year, and they've always been eating their words. So we'll see. We'll see. The Switch will come out, and it'll be a top seller yet again. Like look
No,
look at
I
it.
doubt that.
Steam had to steal Nintendo's idea to make the Steam Deck. They didn't come up with that by themselves. They were like, oh, look
No,
at that.
Steam just did it better. Wait, let me get my Steam Deck.
Or did the Nvidia Shield come out like 10 years
Yeah,
ago?
that's true. The Shield did come out. Like
What the
10
fuck
years
is
ago.
that? No one knows what that is. So I mean,
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Oh, look at my glorious Persona 4 Golden portable machine. Mmm, delicious. Modern
Isn't it-
games.
Isn't that shitty game coming out for the Switch anyway, though?
Yeah,
Yeah, but it's not out
exactly.
till next year. It's out now on the Nintendo or on the fucking Steam Deck.
Well,
And it's
yeah,
better on the Steam Deck.
they're getting
And
they're
it'll
getting
be
Persona
free
5
on
first,
Game
the
Pass.
better modern Persona game. But sadly, they'll never.
Steam Deck, baby.
But it's funny. So you bring up the carpal tunnel. I was gonna mention. So I've been playing a lot of Guilty Gear with my hitbox. I've loved that hitbox. It's a great device. But my hand has been hurting a lot just because I've just been really like doing all these matches for so long. I got to Celestial, which is like the top rank. And I didn't know once you get to Celestial rank, you have to fight other people to earn the rank. If you don't fight them within a certain amount of time, they'll just demote you back to rank 10. So I'm like, okay, whatever. I did that. I fought some people there, but it's like, man, it's just. I had to make sure I have to like play like this on the hitbox. If you rest your hands like this, you're just gonna like damage your hands. So it's rough, but it's fun.
Is this hitbox thing? Is this also one of your sticky controllers, or?
No.
Is
It's I use it all the time, so it doesn't get sticky. The only thing is that there's like, the very like side of it gets like kind of hard, probably from the sweat and moisture. There's humidity. Come on, it's not
What-
like it's
I-
Connecticut.
That's what he
what is
calls
this
it.
thing?
The humidity.
It's basically a fight stick, but every direction instead of a stick is a button.
Yeah, up
It's like
is
an
like
individual
this.
button.
Yeah, like it's what I like about it the most though is because on the stick I keep getting accidental jumps because of just how the stick works. The hitbox, the up button is like it's like a bottom button. So if you want to jump, you have to like go out of your way to hit up. It's not like out of your way, but it's like you have to like commit to it. So that I like a little bit more because that way it's like I can actually like jump when I want to jump and not accidentally jump.
This sounds
Yeah.
awful. I
It's-
mean,
It's like it's like Yoshim says. It's like playing on a keyboard, basically.
Yeah,
so what's the, I have to see this thing.
Yeah, there's a giant learning curve to it. It's not like something you'll like because at first you're just gonna like this is so fucking weird, but it's like once you start to get it, I can't go back to a stick. I prefer this way more. I've been getting my inputs done perfectly. It was to the point where the FGC was considering hitboxes as cheating devices because there's no accidental inputs. You can actually get the inputs you want out of them. So I've been loving them.
Also, Yoshim, the Steam Deck is not $1,000.
Yeah, isn't it
I
only
got
like
I got the top end one, and it was like $659.
Yeah, that's like kind of cheap actually.
Yeah, I mean, console concerns like that. I mean, people are like, it's only $500, bro. It's only $350 for a Switch Pro. You know who invented consoles? Poor people.
Yeah, well,
But
you know,
even
that's
then,
impressive. I mean, they're making
you-
money, dude. Come on.
But even
Yeah.
like $650, and you can play all the Steam games. And can you connect like USB controllers to it and shit?
Yeah,
Yeah, that thing
you can
that's amazing.
output it
That's
to
so cheap.
TVs and all as well. All this
Yeah.
mad shit.
I will say, like, that's
Basically a fully fledged PC.
that's why I'm like mostly hyped for the Steam Deck. I don't give a shit about what's there. It's like I get to play because the one game I really wanted to play online a lot is on the Switch. They had Guilty Gear XX, like R plus core or whatever, and I love that game. It's like a really cool fighter, and it's like I can only play it on the Switch, and no one plays that game online for obvious reasons. And I can't get on the Mac version of Steam. They never put that game on the PlayStation for whatever fucking reason. So it's like, oh, so I have to like, I have to get a PC to play this one Guilty Gear game that anything can play. Anything can play this fucking game, and it's only
You
on
can get a
Steam and
PC to
Switch.
play a million other games too, though.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
you know what
Guilty
other
Gear's
games you
fun.
can play? All of them.
Yeah, basically.
Just
Except
play one of the
Nintendo ones.
Guilty Gears that's, on your system.
It's like the old
Station.
like I'm a Mac, I'm a PC, Justin Long ads. It's like, oh, I'm a Mac, I'm a PC. Oh, I'm just playing games. Oh, which one? All of them. Because PC can play all of them. So
Theo, you just gotta download Boot Camp anyway. You could play some games on your Mac if you
I
just get
I
Windows
could,
on it.
but I don't. I mean, the way that my Mac's been acting today, I don't want to risk it. It could explode, dude.
Yeah, throw
I
it
know
in the
it's-
trash. Also, Yoshi, this is all your fault for living in Canada. Don't blame.
yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that's Mickey Mouse Monopoly money. That's your fault, not ours.
That is your fault.
Jeez. I mean,
And besides, 1,000 Canadian, isn't that only worth like? Isn't a Canadian dollar only worth like 50 cents?
I'm
It's
gonna compare it to the
75.
euro right now.
you can't get out. Yoshi's trapped. We should start a GoFundMe for Yoshi to get out of Canada.
No, Yoshi, just marry Theo, and you'll be good.
I don't
You
know. The way
need to
Yoshi's
get
been
out of
talking, I don't know if I can
Canada.
handle that relationship. I can't put my name on a fake marriage.
Just talk about how you can get like free prescriptions and shit, Yoshi, and
The
your
New
Canada
Mexico.
healthcare.
You number 7. Storm knows.
Wow, Yoshi said he's not attracted to you, Theo. That's fucked up.
It's funny. Every single guy I've talked to said they keep telling me I'm like hot and attractive, and I'm like, yeah,
What
well,
the fuck?
it's so fucking.
I don't know
weird.
who you're hanging around with, you.
It was just,
What the?
So,
I
Theo,
was
are
just
you
like,
hanging out at the
no, it
gay
was
strip
like,
club again?
no, I was at college. I was in college. I was hanging out. Like, this one guy came up to me and says, "Hey, are you gay?" I'm like, "No." Oh, okay. I was gonna say like you're pretty cute. I'm like, "Oh, okay, thank you," and that was it. Like, hey,
Hey,
if
are
people
you
tell
gay?
you compliments, I'll take them. But it's like, hey, I'm just not getting on to that, and that's it.
You said every guy though.
Well, almost every guy. I mean, it was that every person in college I ran into had that same idea. They kept asking me that. I said no, but thank you. I was in this one Facebook group, and this one guy was like, "Hey, you're pretty." I was like, "Nah, I'm good, thank you though." And that was it. It's like,
You know
Why
what's
are so many gay guys trying to like?
He gives off a vibe, you know. It's the facial hair, clearly.
I
I
didn't
haven't
have
actually-
facial hair back then, so I mean,
Oh.
man.
No,
Well, maybe
I
it was the lack of
observing.
facial hair, you know. You had the whole baby look going on.
Theo is just a twink boy for everyone in college.
He's a Kojima twink.
I mean, everyone,
confirmed.
I was carded everywhere, and I always tell people like, "Hey, you're laughing at me now, but I'm fucking 21. And they have to card me. That just means I look young. You look like a fucking old ass dude, or you're an alcoholic, and they never have to ask. So you say that now, but I'm gonna be the one laughing when you're fucking looking like a boomer. I mean, even now they ask me for my ID, and it's like, oh, thank you.
Yeah. I actually have a story kind of
Yo.
similar to this. Well, that's related. I've been playing this Scrabble game on my phone. It's called Word Feud, and there's mad dudes that are like trying to pick you up on the fucking Scrabble game. Like you'll be playing the Scrabble game, and they'll be like, "Hey, what are you doing this weekend?" And it's like, "Yo, chill out." And then
If you
like,
don't play Scrabble, son.
yeah, and once you rebuke them, they just resign the game.
I wonder.
So it's like,
I wonder if half of these people are like
Charles,
FBI
why don't we
agents
get
trying to
together
bust
this weekend and play some Scrabble?
that's exactly what it is.
I
What
just
were you
don't-
saying,
You
Theo?
can play with my triple word
I
score.
wonder if like have this time that online if half these people are like FBI agents trying to bust like pedophilia people or whatever. Like, oh,
No,
you know what?
it's
Want to hang
it's
out? It's
crusty
like
old men. Hold up, I'm gonna show you one. Actually, maybe I shouldn't show you one of them. I don't know if that's, but I'll tell you, it's just old men, and they're just like, "Hey, cutie," and I'm like, "No,
Chris Hansen,
like, get
when
out of
you
here."
need him.
What's that?
Take a seat over there.
One guy tricked me by gaining my trust by like he played really well, and I was like, "Good game, man," and he's like, "Where are you located?"
He should have been like,
So-
"Oh, Alaska."
I
I'll
told one
come
guy
give you a
even
real
closer.
reward for winning.
I mean, there was this one
I told-
time that it felt really awkward to me. It was the reverse that happened to you, where it was literally just like I had a really good fight, and it was like Skull Girls or Guilty Gear. So these are very hard matches to come by. So like, okay, I just want them just there, so I can just like invite them to a match if I'm like really wanting a match. This one dude was like, "So why do you want me to be friends?" I'm like, just so that we can just play fighting games." Yeah, like why? And like as you start probing to see like. Why would I act as a friend? I was like, okay, never mind. I unfriended. I never talked to that person again because it felt like this person was like 12 years old, and they were like, "Why is this guy inviting me?" I was like, okay, I don't want to deal with this anymore.
Theo, I feel like you have lots of interactions with psychos on the internet.
Well, it is the
Oh,
internet.
there
but
was-
Yeah.
I was dying laughing just during that because of Theo talking about the fighting games and all. For anybody out there who's watched fairly far in Black Mirror, I have 2 words for you relating
Oh.
to Theo. Fighting vipers, or is it striking vipers? But yeah, that was the first thing that popped into my mind when he said that. Theo, have you seen that?
No.
You should watch it. It's great.
Oh, I'm not going to tell you what happens, but you need to watch just that episode. It's
Wait,
just
watch
show?
all
keep
the
in
episodes
keep
of
it. Yeah, watch all the episodes,
Wait,
but
what
keep in
show?
mind
That
what
one in
what you
particular.
just talked about and watch that episode.
Wait, what show?
Strike. It's
Uh,
Black Mirror.
Black Mirror.
Oh no, okay, I did watch Black Mirror. I think I do know what that episode. Okay, yeah, I do know that episode. Now I
It's
know
the
what it
fighting
is.
game one.
Yeah. That one
Yeah, that's
that one's all right. I like the
That's
the
why,
horror
that's why
game
you're
one
giving
more.
out those friend requests, though, right, Theo?
It was just because like Skullgirls, I'm waiting for matches forever. So like, hey, if I could get a person that can just go into a lobby, that's fine. I don't need any more than hey, just let's play a fighting game and that's it. That's all I'm looking for. I'm not looking for anything else than that. So when people like just ask me all that stuff, it's like okay, I'm just gonna confront them if that's the case. I mean, I don't want to be awkward for anyone. It's like that's what it seems to me. This one person that I friended, they were like, oh, let's go in party chat. I'm like, oh, okay. And the person sounded like they were 12. I was like, okay, I don't want to like do any MP with this person anymore. It was really awkward, and it was just like, yeah, okay, like it's whatever. I moved
Use
on.
friend request ridicule.
So
No, I don't want to be your friend. Get the fuck out of here. Decline.
We got to get to retro. What game did you
Oh
play?
yeah.
Oh yeah, I
So,
almost forgot.
I completely forgot about that actually. I'll cycle back and I'll like lead in from Control. So I didn't replay Control. I played it twice. Once when it came out on Steam, I got my fancy new 3090 and I wanted to play the DLC. Ray Trace Reflections, Control still remains to be the best looking game for all the ray tracing stuff. Ray Trace Reflections in that game are incredible. It's like you can literally see around corners and stuff like that. You be walking down corridors and you see all your reflections. It's the best thing ever. Easily the best showcase for it. I'll briefly run through Control real quick. I kind of came down like half and half between both of you because I agreed with some things Theo said, some things he didn't, or didn't agree with some things he said. Some things Charles said, some disagreed with some things he said. I found the combat and the pacing for the likes of the powers and shit in that game extremely poor. Sure, by the time you get the good powers, you're at the end of the game and you get to play with them for about an hour. And up until that point, all the combat, all the like telekinesis, all the powers you have in general are just shite. So you spend like 90% of the game doing basic subpar combat with basic subpar abilities until you get like right to the very end where basically I think it's like the final power you get, then you can go around and do everything or just go and complete the game or like do like the last section or whatever it is. So that was I can feel where both of you are coming from. That story wise, Control was a bit of a mess. I liked some of the tie-ins with stuff like that as well, especially because you mentioned Max Payne. The voice of the original director is Max Payne, and he's also in Alan Wake too. So Remedy has the whole thing going, and that's especially important to me because Max Payne 1 and 2 are some of the greatest narrative games ever made. Max Payne 2 is like almost the pinnacle of storytelling. It's like the pinnacle of dark, gritty cop noir storytelling in like gaming history. Max Payne 1 is up there too. But the point is, you bring all that back. Control is a mediocre at best game for the most part. Some of the extra stuff is nice in there with the likes of Theo mentioned David Lynch especially. I mean, all of that stuff is obvious in there with all the objects of power and all of that.
And the changer also
plays
looks like
back
David
in.
Lynch.
Yeah, kind of. But bringing it back, I played Alan Wake for my game. So
Wait, can I interrupt you real quick about your Control experience? So do you think Max Payne is similar to it, like in gameplay wise, or no?
No, it's much better.
Okay, I just thought it was interesting that you said it because I've actually been wanting to replay the first two Max Payne games because like I tend to believe that what you're saying about it being like cinematic and like narratively driven because I played it when I was a kid, but I was like 11 when it came out, and I couldn't finish it because it like scared me a lot in the game. So like, if it brought that, like some games are just like, okay, this story is a whatever, who gives a fuck story, but I remember like actually being afraid to play the game. So like, maybe it's like worth revisiting.
But you've got a couple of options if that's the case. Max Payne 1, depending on how much you loved it and how much nostalgia, the controls can be a little bit rough to go back to. Especially if you've played Max Payne 2 or 3 recently, or probably Control, it's such stripped back and pared back combat, and it can feel a little bit archaic, but I mean, I'm okay with that personally because I've grown up on that game, and like that game is what it is to me. But your other option is they're remaking entirely Max Payne 1 and 2. So you could wait for that. And it's being remade by Remedy, the people who made Control and the original 2 Max Payne games.
Okay.
So
I was
that's
gonna
your other
say-
option to wait
Are
for
they
that.
gonna fuck it up with modern shit though?
I don't know. They haven't said if they're doing like a faithful remake or if they're bringing in like Max Payne 3 controls with extra dives and cover and all of this
I
stuff.
thought
They
it
haven't said
was-
yet, but
I thought it was just
We'll
a
see.
remaster of the originals. I didn't
no,
know
no,
it was.
they're doing full-on remakes.
Well, Remedy's working on it. I can't see them, changing it off the beaten path. The only thing I could see maybe is that they might want to throw it. I don't know, because like, doesn't Rockstar now own Max Payne?
Yeah, they bought it from Remedy. They Take-Two and Rockstar partnered with Remedy to fund Max Payne 2. And then after Max Payne 2, they bought the rights from them. So Rockstar made Max Payne 3, but Rockstar have now contracted Remedy to remake 1 and 2.
So I can't see them like,
like,
going
more
off
updated
the
stuff.
script unless Rockstar wants them to. Hey, change
Yeah,
your game,
I
fix it.
imagine
We
it
don't
would
like
be
what you
pre-
did. We just
I
bought it
imagine
for
it'd
fun.
be pretty good, pretty faithful, and I'm hoping that they don't change it too much. I've always said what I would love. This was in around the time of Max Payne 3 came out. I always said I would love like a remake or remaster or port or whatever of Max Payne 1 and 2 put into the Max Payne 3 engine. And then you have the option to play with the original style mechanics and physics and all, or the Max Payne 3 versions as well. So you could go whichever, because it would make the game feel a lot different.
I also
um,
just would rather have them
oh.
also, like, when they do these remasters or re-releases, just to keep the originals also available. Like, you could buy Max Payne 1 and 2 right now on consoles as well, and
they're
all that.
probably still going to stay on Steam as well anyway. I think they're on Steam actually.
Well, it's just that it's rough for Rockstar, because when they released that definitive trilogy for GTA, they removed the originals. So it's like, hopefully they don't do that shit where it's like, all right, let's get rid of these. You have this brand new mobile game version of it you could play.
So stupid.
Well, Remedy know how to make games. Remedy make good PC ports. They make good games in general. So I think that would be safe, because I mean, it's just some random bunch of interns that they founded a new studio just to do the GTA series remaster.
Yeah, but you gotta
Got
think
rid of
though,
the fog
it-
though.
Well, also,
Rockstar is publishing it though, so they might use the same stupid strategy of pulling down the old ones. Who knows?
well, yeah, that's
It wouldn't surprise me.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's a little iffy. I mean, because I mean, at the same time, like, there was big backlash when they did that. So Rockstar, I think that's to some degree went back on their decision a little bit, because I think initially they were not going to let you download, even if you bought the games on PlayStation, let's say. They would just remove the download completely, but now it's like, oh well, no, you can actually download the game still, but you may not be able to buy it. Whatever.
That's the great thing about Steam. You could always still re-download them anyway, even during all of that. You couldn't continue to buy them if you didn't own them, but they would allow you to re-download them.
Well, that's how it was for
But,
PlayStation for a while. It's just that some companies go out of their way to, like, for PT, for example. I mean, Konami made sure you could not even download it or even move it to the PlayStation 5, even if you have like.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So it's all like whatever.
I still have that on my PS4 Pro.
Same.
You know, you can't actually stream that properly. If you try to stream it using the in-console streaming thing, it actually won't do it because it's classified as no category for the game. But you can obviously stream it separately using
Yes.
just Elgato or OBS or whatever thing you have. But
Well,
what was I saying? Oh yes, I'm gonna take a drink.
Better take a slip.
You know, you could have asked him a question when he was taking a drink, Theo. That actually
Yeah.
would have been.
it was
time.
gonna be for everyone.
That's
I mean,
what I
it
was
gonna-
doing.
It was gonna change the whole like year of the conversation, so I didn't know if it was gonna. Because I was gonna say like, well, it sounds like we're done talking about the games that we picked for Game Club, and we could talk about the next one.
No, he didn't play.
Well,
he didn't
I
talk
was-
about his game yet.
Exactly.
about to
That's
go to
why.
Alan Wake
That's
for it.
why he didn't say anything. Jeez. Wow.
So-
Nothing to say about it.
Okay, fair enough. We'll finally get back to that. So I played Alan Wake. Now I love Alan Wake. It's a fantastic game. It's a proper Remedy quality, Remedy tier game back before they made Control, because that's like a big step down. So one of the things I love about Alan Wake so much is just like the atmosphere, the fact that he narrates the whole game in a David Lynch Twin Peaks extra campy way as well. It hits all the stuff I love in this. I could see some people playing it and think like the story or the narrative or the way Alan talks and thinks and how it all progresses. I could see someone who's not big into that having issues with it, but I like the gameplay, the characters. The story can be a little bit of a mess, even for me who's played it like probably 20 times. It can still be a little bit out there what's really happening and what's really not. But especially just one of the big things about Remedy in general. This goes with Max Payne, Control, and Alan Wake. They bring back a lot of the same voice actors and all as well. In Control, the doctor you see in like all the video and stuff, it's Alan Wake's voice. It's Alan Wake's actor who looks like Alan Wake and does the voice of Alan Wake. I can't remember his name. It's like Doctor something or ever. But he in the actual video files in the game when you watch them in Control, it's him.
Oh.
The voice of the original director at the start of the game and on the phone when you hear it, that's Max Payne. It's the same one. In Alan Wake, the guy you're chasing and the story you're chasing and all, Thomas Zane, the other artist or the other writer and author, he's voiced by Max Payne. So it's a consistent thing, and like James McCaffrey, who's Max Payne, is just such an amazing voice actor. But there's that leads it back to playing Max Payne 1 and 2. But anyway, back to Alan Wake. The fact that they bring in the combat has a nice twist to it. It's not as big action orientated as Max Payne or even Control, because you're a writer, you're an author, you're not a cop, you're not someone with superpowers. You're just a writer who has to harness the power of light and guns to do what they do, but the whole light and darkness thing. You can use flares and stuff as well to like give yourself a little safety bubble. You got like big explosive things like flare guns, which do mad damage, all of this stuff. But it can be a little bit hard to follow story wise for some people. Like I said, even for me, and I played it tons of times as well. But I love Alan Wake. It hits all the things I love from Remedy, all the things I love from a kind of campy, self-aware story game, at the same time as like David Lynch stuff from other media. Like we'll just say other media. In this case, it would be David Lynch. So it's Alan Wake is fantastic. I recommend everybody play it.
Yeah.
If you like any type of third-person shooter games, even if it's not full balls to the wall action the entire time, definitely give that a try. Like if I won't spoil it, but I mean, there's what would you call them without spoiling it? Like it's set in and around a small remote town, so a lot of the inhabitants of the town and their idiosyncrasies and their eccentricities and all as well, their day-to-day life stuff can factor in as well. Their lore, their history, and who they are and what they do and or did, all factors in like sometimes it's minor funny ways, sometimes it's big important ways. It's really really good.
Well,
I don't know what you're doing with the likes of the star ratings or the scores and all as well. I know you do it really weird ways. Let me just give you a comparison.
Do
Um,
whatever you want for your rating. I am against star ratings and number ratings because I think you can't objectively rate something.
yeah, that's true. But just to give you a general idea, because I mean, if for example you might hate Alan Wake and Control and give the different things, but Control by comparison, unless you have an RTX graphics card, I would not recommend you play that game at all. It's that simple. I just wouldn't recommend Control to anybody outside of checking the best showcase for RTX graphics stuff. Alan Wake, I highly recommend to everybody. It's really really good, because even if you're not massively into like standard third person shooter gameplay, but you like kind of weird campy alternate stories, that has something for you. Maybe you don't like the stories, but you do like decent third person shooter gameplay with a little bit of a twist. it has that for you, even if you don't like the story. So just by comparison, like that's a highly rated thing. 4.5 out of 5 stars for Alan Wake. You know, 0.5 for Control, unless
Ooh.
you've got an RTX graphics card. So
Wow.
that's
Wow.
just
Validates
that's
how I
just
feel about Control.
yeah.
It's-
I did not like Control. I pretty much hated Control. It's like I said, I hated like 90% of the entire time I played it. Up
Me and
until I
Retro
got
agree.
a little bit at the end. But there's the Theo, you finished it. You said, didn't you? Control.
I beat it like I beat it before. I mean, this is a new file.
Yeah,
But I
but
was
you have finished it.
yeah, but I was gonna say I did like the DLC. I think I liked more than the actual game because the Alan Wake
same here.
DLC was very clever. Like it integrated the mechanics of Alan Wake into which I wasn't expecting because I played Alan Wake to do the DLC, so I did that. And I was like, I liked Alan Wake, which was funny. I was gonna say. I always thought this was like a Telltale game. Like, oh, they sold this like in episodic parts, separately. Like not Telltale, like oh, like that game, just how they
Like
distribute
a
it.
season pass released it because of all the different acts and chapters and how drastically different they are. And I get you.
Yeah, so I thought they did that, but I guess they sold it as one like big game, I guess. But
Yeah, it was one big game, but they were capitalizing on the not maybe not capitalizing it. They were kind of, I won't say maybe marketing it. They were kind of progressing it as like a TV show and stuff.
yeah,
Because if you played their other game, that's actually between Alan Wake and Control, it's called Quantum Break, launched on Xbox One and PC. That is pure shite. That game is terrible in like so many ways.
I've heard
It's
nothing but bad
significantly
things.
worse than Control.
Yeah, I've heard nothing
But
but
it's
bad things about that
significantly worse
game.
than Control. And just to give you an example, because what they wanted to do with like basically this game, Quantum Break, has it's a TV show / game. It's like a whole experience. When you because
yeah,
it
I remember
it
that.
feels like yeah, exactly. It's like it feels like the progression of what they originally wanted to do with Alan Wake and what the technology could allow them to do going forward when it came out on Xbox One and PC. So when
Yeah, 'cause
that
they
game
got
is still
those,
broken into
actors.
acts and stuff. Yeah, they have real actors and all shit in it, but it's broken into chapters and acts and stuff like that. Just like Alan Wake is like episode 1 and all of that. But when you finish episode 1 in Quantum Break, it legitimately has a 25-minute live action TV show episode between in-game things.
Oh,
And there's
Sounds like
there
my
I,
nightmare.
yeah, it basically is.
I'll be
And you know what?
honest. Charles
You know what
Limit.
the worst thing is?
Hearing
Oh,
that,
it actually you do need to kind of watch them because at one point during the episode, it splits in half, and it's like, do you want to do this or this? And that affects your next chapter and the last like 15 minutes of the cutscene or of the
Oh,
live action
God.
thing, and they're in between every single episode. It's like 25 minutes long, no joke. It's an actual episode between
Jeez,
each
That's
one.
a quantum break, dude.
it's on Game
Yeah,
Pass,
that's
and I don't, and that kind of sold me off of it immediately because like I don't mind long
do
cutscenes,
not
but
touch that game.
man, if I have to like sit through episodes between game shit, it's like no, I'll just put on a TV show at that point.
Did you say you like this game, Retro?
Quantum Break
Yeah,
or Alan Wake.
Quantum Break.
No, Quantum Break is shite. It's significantly worse than Control. Like if Control is 0.5 stars, if you don't have an RTX card, I'm giving it here, lads. Quantum Break -5 stars. That's
Damn.
it. It is
Had one match
I
on
would
the show.
avoid anyone.
-5 stars.
Jeez.
Yes, that's it. That's it.
Because I was,
-5 stars.
I was also gonna say like I feel like Alan Wake was probably like I haven't played Max Payne, so I can't say anything about that. But Alan Wake did feel like a more concise, focused game. Like gameplay wise, story wise, it's all like focused. Control just kind of seemed a little too busy just trying to invoke the David Lynch vibe, which I think it does the bare minimum with that. But I think Alan Wake is probably like their better game.
It's funny that it comes to that because Alan Wake was actually stuck in development hell for several years. It was supposed to be a launch game for Xbox 360, but it was stuck in development hell for about 5 years or so, and then didn't come out until I think it was 2010. and it had already been in development for like 4 or 5 years prior to the launch of the
Now,
Xbox
were you
360.
playing the Alan Wake remake, remaster thing, or is this the OG?
No. I've played the remaster, but for what I played on this, I played the original PC version.
Would you recommend the remaster, or is that like no?
So I acquired the remastered version because I'm not a sellout like Charles. I don't spend money on the Epic Game Store. They're ruining gaming, and I will not fund anything they do. Which is why I'm going to have to acquire.
I got a refund. Fine.
Yeah, but still, it doesn't matter. It's the principle. I'm going to have to acquire Alan Wake 2 the same way because they're publishing it and funding it. But I forget where I was going with that now. Oh yeah, I tried the remaster. It felt very minor in the now this was a few months ago I played it, but since I've played Alan Wake so many times, I looked at it and I'm like, this feels very, very minuscule and minor. This feels like almost nothing. And then when I went back and played it just recently for this, I played the regular version, and I was like, yeah, just played through the whole game. I'm like, this is the lighting and shadow, and the other one was a tiny bit better. I mean, there's other games that have remasters that are significantly better,
Now,
but this one just wasn't it.
Are you pro real advertisements the original one had, or pro fake advertisements the remaster had? Because I think the
So I was a little bit it hits differently for me. I only really was pro in that sense because I was like, hey, Energizer, the batteries, that's pretty funny, and we'll go with that. All of the other brands and stuff in the original, which are still in the PC version, aren't brands over here. They're still the US ones in game. Like, you've got Verizon ads and stuff like that. We don't have Verizon over here. There's a bunch of other ones as well, but obviously Energizer was Energizer. But I know it's funny because the licensing deal ran out. So in the original version of the game, or at least the main story of the original version of it, you have Energizer batteries and all of the other stuff. In the DLC, because of when it came out, you just have generic blank batteries because of when it ran out. And I'm pretty sure it's the same in the remaster version. I can't remember. I didn't play the full extent of the remaster.
All right. So I think now we can. What are you gonna say?
Oh no, it doesn't really matter. I was gonna ask about. Yeah, no. I was just gonna say I don't think I like third-person shooters now that I'm thinking about it, but.
I'm a third-person fan, but whatever, it's fine. Now we can talk about the next Game Club game that we want to do, I guess.
Okay. I'm gonna say I get to choose this time, because you chose the last two.
Okay, I didn't choose Barbie Puppy Adventure. Excuse me, Charles. I didn't pick that one.
The people chose that.
The people chose Barbie Puppy Adventure. All right, because I have a game I really want to play, and it looks like a lot of fun. And I think Retro might be into it too because of the style of it. It's a Frogun or Frog Gun. I don't know what it's called. I don't know the name of it. It just came out.
Oh, I saw people just mentioning that the other day.
And it looks like a lot like Mega Man Legends, like in the visual style. I don't know if you were a fan of that game, Retro, but I know it's a retro game. So
I know of it. I've only played it once, but it's like I won't call it a third-person shooter, but it's like a 3D version of Mega Man in a way.
Yeah, it's Mega Man, like kind of Zelda-ish.
What's the game?
It's called Frogun or Frog Gun. Frogun.
Yeah. New game thing.
Oh, okay. I saw this one. They had that limited run game E3 event, or whatever, and they had a trailer for this.
Yeah.
And I was in the stream chat and I said, "Oh, it looks like May from Guilty Gear," and everyone agreed with me. I was very popular after I made that joke, so it was like really cool. But yeah,
the big thing about that is what's going to be my spin-off?
Okay, wait a second. They compared this to a lot of different games. Hold on. I have There's a game from PlayStation that this is like it plays just like a different game. I forgot what it's called though.
Which PlayStation console is it on?
Like the original PlayStation.
Croc Legend of the Gobos.
No. It's something specific. Something that you wouldn't like think of off the top of your head.
Oh, don't test me, Charles. Don't test me.
Hold on, keep naming shit. I'm
There's
looking
a
for it
deluxe
right now.
edition for this
Ape
game,
Escape?
and I don't know why.
No.
PlayStation 1. Just looking at that. It looks a bit like Crash and Spyro, but they're a bit obvious.
Think puzzle platformers.
Puzzle platformers.
A PS1
Oh, Cath- wait, no,
N64
puzzle platforms, never
era
mind.
styled platformer in which your grappling hook is a frog.
Shit, I'm gonna figure this game
Castlevania
out.
Symphony of the Night.
No.
I just felt like saying that just randomly.
Symphony of the Night.
So they have a deluxe
Um,
edition for Frogun. I don't know, like, what is in the deluxe edition. Like, why is there? Oh, never mind. It's an art book. Fuck. Wow.
That's
Hold on.
Teo's weakness, an art book.
Yeah, it's digital, but I mean, it's 50 pages.
PS1
Hold on, I'm gonna find
platformers. Rayman, Oddworld, Spyro, Klonoa.
No.
I said Croc, Gex.
Yeah, here we
Castlevania is
go.
here.
I have a
Strider,
list.
Mega Man, Jumping
Games-
Flash.
20 games like Frogun. Okay. See if any of these are something that
Just keep
My
throwing
friend-
out names. When I
Comba?
hear it, I'll know it.
My Friend Pedro.
Ooh, that's a
No.
great game.
Like it's an old game. Shit.
Pandemonium.
No. Shit. I was looking at this the other day and I can't think of the name of the game.
Jersey Devil. Rascal. Bubsy 3D.
Oh,
No,
there we
no,
go. You
no.
can play Bubsy.
I have the original Bubsy on SNES. Not SNES, SNES.
You know, I
Just
used to kind of
getting
think
that out
Bubsy
there.
was an okay game, and it's not. The
My
original-
mother loves Bubsy. Some days I would come home from school and she would be playing Bubsy on my SNES. It's like
No
the
way.
only game she could play. Like even Mario and all of that, she couldn't play them, but she loved playing Bubsy.
She loves Bubsy. She lives for Bubsy.
What could possibly go wrong?
What can possibly go wrong?
The best catchphrase. Oh, Yoshi says Umihara Kuwasi.
Is there a non-Japanese version of that name?
Dark Souls. The
Dark Souls.
very
Motherfuckers.
funny. There's
I've actually got some PS1 From Software games. It's mainly Armored Core.
what about Frog Golf?
Is it Frogger?
No.
That's on PS1.
Okay, here we go.
I'm-
From Pocket Tactics. Mix together The Legend of Zelda, Crash Bandicoot, and Banjo-Kazooie, and you get Frogun.
No, they're missing something. There's a game it's exactly like. I'm getting so pissed that I can't figure out what it is.
Look up a game called Jumping Flash. Maybe it's that.
Games.
No, that's if I hear the name, I'll know exactly what it is. Fuck.
Loot Light?
No.
Sanzai? Curse to Golf? Lord of Winklebottom?
Fuck.
Running on Magic?
I don't know.
It's
I'm
called-
looking at all the screenshots of Frogun here, and it's basically just the majority of all the stuff we've named that it feels
Mr.
like.
Pepper?
I'm gonna look like an asshole if I don't figure this out.
Unbound? Whipsy? Planet Alpha?
Roller Drome.
What was that last one?
Roller Drone?
No, that's not it either. It's like almost an exact ripoff of this game too, and I can't figure out what it is.
Omen Sight?
Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker.
It's
Rico?
similar to that game though.
It looks exactly
Dead-
like
Yeah,
that.
you could play that one.
Dead Dungeon?
No.
Don't Knock
God
Twice?
damn it.
Never Give Up?
No.
Never Give Up, Never Surrender. Gene Rain?
Hula World.
What was that
Yeah,
last one?
so for
Hula
fans of
World. KULA.
For fans of Crash Bandicoot, Croc, Legend of the Gobbos, and Captain Toad Treasure Tracker.
Well, I say 3 games that I've named.
I know
Suzy,
that's none of them.
Suzy Cube. Lucky's Tale.
Did you try? Did you look up Cooler
Which one?
World? Marble Madness.
Male Mole. Oh,
No.
this has to be it. Look
God
at this
damn it.
one. That's
What
it, right?
What game is it?
It's oh you're
No, it's
looking.
not
That's
that.
something.
Kitty Poot. Are you sure? I mean, it looks just.
Bugging cat.
Oh, Steam. Is it Tiku's Tales? As a bird, the fork.
No. It has a name. It has a
Musashi.
very like clinical name. It's like Box Mover or some shit like that. That's not at all what
It's
is,
funny.
but it's like
No.
I'm gonna find it out. I'm gonna figure it out. God,
Do you, by any chance was it the one? Is it in black and white?
I don't remember. I don't think so.
Is it Toy
Okay, it's not the
Story?
same because you said box mover. It just made me think of something.
No, it's like it's a 3D game. It's like exactly like this. Hmm. Whatever.
No, I
just
don't
play
think
Captain
it's. I
Toad.
don't think it's trombone.
Play fucking Croc.
Play
I've been meaning to buy Croc, so I guess I could do that.
Were you really?
Yeah, I've been meaning to buy Croc for like months. I love Croc. It's a really good game. I used to love it because everyone you know loves Spyro or Crash, and I hated Spyro back in the day, but I liked Crash, but I preferred Croc. So I've been meaning to buy a copy of it, so I probably will. I think I can get one easily enough.
Or you could play like Pac-Man World or something. It's kind of similar.
See,
or
PlayStation
he goes back to play
1.
Death Stranding, and he can hear.
No.
he
Yeah,
can tell-
I can get a copy of Croc for €17 box. They have it in my local retro store. I say local, but it's up in Dublin.
Well, if I ever figure out what game it was that it rips off, then I'll let you know. But I can't remember, and I can't find anything that references it. But it's the same type of thing where it's like a puzzle platformer, where you like have to collect a bunch of coins. But it's like not a
Yeah,
very
it's
popular.
Mario.
Sammy Roll. Super Sammy Roll.
What is it called?
Super Sammy Roll.
Maybe
Developer Sanzai Games.
you could be. Yoshi has a good suggestion. You could play the Misadventures of Tron Bon, which is actually a really fun game.
That's expensive. If that's the case, I'll just pirate that one. I mean, I will acquire that one.
We don't care how you acquired it, as long as you can play it. I mean, if you can't afford, if you can't get it at
I just-
all, then that's.
I can
where it
play
matters.
everything.
Yeah. So.
Misadventures of Tron Bon would be a good one too, because it's also like kind of a puzzle game. It's like I haven't beaten it, but like, and the visual style is very similar. Like this game completely takes the visual style from Mega Man Legends and Misadventures of Tron Bon. And Tron Bon is like, it's more of like you have to recruit her little minions, like the surf.
Oh yeah, I
bots.
know. I've played it before.
Oh, okay, that would be a good one to play.
How about Mario and Donkey Kong?
March of the Minis.
Yeah, all of them. All of them.
Yeah.
You vote for Death Strand? No, someone ban Yoshi for.
No.
All right,
Suggesting
Yoshi,
that.
you're banned officially.
He's not
I
even.
banned him.
He's not even a mod.
He's a VIP.
I still banned
He's
him
a
though.
very
He's
important
banned
person.
just because I said it.
Death Stranding is
This is a great
Kojima
game.
tier garbage.
If I
Yeah.
could make Yoshi a
That's
super
pretty-
VIP, I would after what he said. So there you go. He
See, you're missing so much. I had some like perfect Kojima disses and whatnot in the intro, but I don't want to blow your computer up.
Yo, fucking dissed Kojima. Fuck him.
do it now.
Yeah,
do
it was there.
do it right now. You not. I don't.
Kojima's a fucking
If it's so
cocksucker.
good, if you
Damn.
really have things to say it now.
I can't even remember it. What was I saying?
See, you don't
Oh, yeah,
mean
oh.
it. You didn't even mean what you said. It's probably fluff.
Hang on, wait. I wrote it down. Where's my notepad? Here we go. Let's see.
Already
Okay, you know what? We'll do it the old school way. You ready? We're gonna do this a cappella.
Oh, you're gonna. Oh, hell yes.
There is
Freestyle.
this is done over a beat in the other one, but we're gonna do it different. Anyway.
I can do a
So
beat.
this is what we have. No, we got this. We got this.
Okay.
You ready?
All right,
Ready.
go.
Tio's biking gonna leave you in a bad way, probably because it's Big Bun game day. In for a penny. Now the
Oh,
form's getting rollback netcode, except the Switch because it sucks on a fat showed. Think what you want, but Teddy is the best. I'm more positive on that than Biden's COVID test.
I'm glad
Sorry,
it's cutting
Platinum
out.
Games are just trash boys. Now you're in for a review with Retro and the Bun Boys.
Okay,
I
maybe
like
I'm
it.
not gonna
Lights
add that
off.
to the video after all. Actually,
Absolutely
Oh,
should. Absolutely, I love it.
he praises Persona 4, Charles.
it's-
You like that? You like the Teddy
No, I hate that.
stuff? So I mean,
But
come
I
on.
enjoy the bars and I enjoy the Kojima disses.
Okay,
I
say one
forgive
bad thing
Retro
about
for
Teddy.
liking
Teddy
Anthony
is in that
Bobby's-
dumbass rap. It would have been a good rap, but Teddy ruined it just for being
No,
in
it's
it.
fine. Teddy
So
can stay.
no, fuck Teddy. He's
Even though
terrible.
Teddy is a sex pervert that should be in prison, it's fine.
Him and Yosuke should go to prison. It would improve the game a little bit.
Operation Up Close and Personal, dudes. Why do you think I bought a new motorbike?
If Retro
Jeez.
plays Tron Bon, I'll play Mega Man
Done.
Legends. Because I love
No,
Mega
I'm
Man
gonna play Croc.
You're gonna play
Okay.
Croc?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll play
I'll play
Mega
Croc.
Man Legends then.
All right, we got
I
the
might even play-
games.
I might even play them all. I might play Mega Man Legends 2 and Tron Bon. 'Cause I
Done.
do love the series.
Again,
Yeah, it's a good
I'm gonna buy
series.
this right now from.
Glad to hear you don't just play shovelware, John.
Oh, I love
His
some
name is
great
Just
games.
Gamer
I'll play some
John,
good
and they
games.
don't call him that for nothing.
I'm not fucking. It's just a gamer, John. Actually,
Oh, there's an
I
A
don't,
there.
I don't just play shit all the time. I play good games occasionally.
Oh, I
Alright,
could
so-
pick this up if I wanted.
all right. So I gotta go
I-
anyway, but
All right, I think that'd be a
Where-
good place
who
to
we
stop.
rated? we gotta
Shogun
rate.
on
Yeah.
Switch,
Oh
I guess.
fuck.
Yeah, it's midnight for me anyway. I do need
Okay,
to.
you know what?
I got work in the morning.
Hey, if shit goes south,
We should raid someone. Raid someone playing Frogun.
yeah, I just have to open up Chrome and hope for the best. Let's do it.
Oh,
I mean,
God.
it is the end, so I mean, if anything happens, it happens. It's fine. It's fine, guys. Oh god. Oh god.
I'm looking at the stream right now. Can you only what? Can you only see us? I mean, can you only see you in the stream right now?
No, he just
No,
changed
I
that a
s-
second
I-
ago.
I
Before he
changed
went
it
all
to
glitchy.
maybes. I'm opening Chrome and I don't know what it's gonna do. Because if it opens like
Oh,
because
okay.
I don't want any personal shit to show up, but now like okay.
We're gonna see what made
Oh.
his controller all sticky if he doesn't do this right.
Hey, if that stuff you would never see it.
His mag's dying.
I'm not that lazy.
Yeah, Theo actually has a completely separate computer for that. Thank you very much.
I don't understand. Like sometimes it's fine, then some days it's not. This is rough.
It's the other laptop.
Yeah.
Keyword on lap.
I bought Croc, by the way. It'll be here in a few days.
Perfect.
I think I could.
I'm pumped to play this Frogun game. I hope I'm not disappointed. If I don't like this game, I'm never playing video games again.
Damn it, Kojima.
It's all Kojima's fault.
No, Retro's talking about Croc, and I have like these Croc World games.
Is it the
I don't
same
know
Croc?
if any. It's not the same Croc, so these are like some like mobile shovelware platformer Mario clones. There's 3 of them.
Oh my
Crocs 1 through World 1 through 3.
Alright.
Video games are cancelled.
We're making
I agree.
progress.
Fuck
I'll,
video
I'll,
games.
I'll,
Charge
I'll
is
play
full.
I'll play Mega Man Legends in the style of the graphics. I'm not gonna come up in
Okay.
next
good.
game club and
Now
be
let's
like,
take
"Yo,
a-
Croc's World, this shovelware platformer that's like Mario."
Honestly, in the spirit of this show, you probably should play it since Retro's playing Croc.
Okay,
So
found
you
it.
can play a good game
We
instead.
found a Frogun streamer. We did it.
Let's go. How many viewers they got?
6 viewers, so we're gonna give them 2 extra
Done.
viewers.
It says 9 right from where I'm looking.
I know it says 9. I'm just, you know, I always like to say I have less numbers, so when I look at the real numbers in my emails, I'm like, hell yeah.
You have to
9
remember,
Raiders. Let's go.
Tio's
We're about to do
no, Tio's
150%.
American. Math isn't his strong